What's up guys, TheMerryGamer here, and welcome to Cities Skylines. Cities Skylines is a game that I've been wanting to play for some time. I mentioned it back in one of my JSON fan server episodes, and a lot of you guys showed some good support for the game and a bit of interest, so I decided that I definitely was going to do a series in it after that episode, and here we are now with Cities Skylines. It just came out on the 10th of March. It actually came out on the 11th for me in Australia because Steam likes to release it late in American Pacific time. So yeah, that's kind of a bit frustrating because I wanted to play it. But here we are now. So I actually have played this game once before already. I had a little test run and deleted the world, and it went absolutely horrendous. This game is incredibly hard to get started because if you overspend, you really kick yourself in the butt. So we're going to start a new game, and we're going to pick Sandy Beach. Sandy Beach is my favorite one. We're going to hit left-handed traffic. The reason why I like Sandy Beach is because I like the ideas of the sandy beaches in the game. I kind of want to have some sort of holiday resort sort of area and have like a nice looking place. So you also get to name the place, and we're going to name it Royal Tonbridge Wells. The reason why is Royal Tonbridge Wells is a place that I used to live near. I was in actually a place called Tonbridge. Royal Tonbridge Wells was the next town across, and this is back when I used to live in England. So we're going to name it after this and just go from there. So this one also has outside connections for highways, rails, boats, and for plane as well. So not all the places have the connections. I know Two Rivers is missing the boats, and some places have higher resources than others depending on the thing. So all of them have their pros and cons. So I'm going to hit start here, and we're going to jump into it straight away. And hopefully I don't have the same issue as last time. I really do overspend. I'm just going to keep it really simple and see what happens, because the last time I tried, it just went horrendously wrong. I started getting back, like I was in the negatives for a while because everyone goes into the negatives, but then I started going into the positives a tiny bit, but then it went straight back into the negatives and I overspent too much. So what we need to do is we're just going to do something simple. So we're going to connect these two together, and then I'm going to connect. So now this is where they come out, and so when you want to leave the city, you need to go on the left-hand side, not the right-hand side, because in Australia and Europe we use left-hand side driving. I know America and Canada, and I think even France uses right-hand side driving. So we're just going to be a bit clever with how we place some of these things, and I'm not going to go crazy at all with some of this stuff. I'm going to actually keep it really basic, because I've kind of messed myself up a few times in the last, like when I tested it, it was just like my idea. I'm going to try and do the same idea again, but the problem is just I just don't have the money for it. It's just that simple. And we're actually not going to waste a lot of money this time. We're going to keep it really basic. So we're going to go here. I'm going to go back up here. There. Oh, I think I messed up already somewhere. We can cut. No, we can cut across here. So there we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have residential over here, and I'm going to have industry over here. And what we're going to do is we're going to hitch up our water system first. So the way it works is these arrows indicate the stream, the power, and also the power of like where it's flowing. So this is downstream. So this is upstream, down here is downstream. So we're going to put our water upstream, and we're going to put our sewage downstream, because if you put it the other way around, your sewage eventually becomes like some big long brown dirty water trail. That's kind of an eyesore in your world. But if you put it above your what you call it, your water, like what is it, like the water station, then the pumping station, then what happens is that you actually start pumping dirty water to your residents, and that's where a whole bunch of things can go wrong. So what I'm going to do, last time there's this thing that I've learnt in this game, It's called the magic number 420 when it comes to pipes. If you do the magic number 420, you're able to do a perfect grid of pipes across your world. But last time I did a whole bunch of gridding, and I put like tiny bits of gridding, where now I'm only going to do the top half. I'm only going to use what I'm going to use, because I had all like the little out bits and I did like half the map. So this time I'm going to make sure I only place what I'm going to use and not waste any damn money, because that's the big issue in this game, is that if you start wasting money, you're going to have a bad time. So I don't mind going and extending the pipes here, and I'm actually going to do one more, and then that's it. We're going to do 3 full pipes, and then that's all we're going to use, because it gives us a tiny bit of room to expand the city without having to run into water issues. So now what we're going to do, we're going to do that and connect up here. So that's all the power, or all the water I'm going to place, and now we're still at 37,000. So now what I need to do is I need to get the power up and running. So now the power, we're going to run from, I want the power up in this corner here. So we're going to only have 1 wind turbine. And, oh, no, I hit 1. I don't want it. So as you can see, we've already started going into the negatives, because we're getting people in here, but we're not getting them in here to pay for our usage. So the big problem is in this game is that you just lose so much money so quickly. So I'm going to have to go there. And then we're going to have to connect there to here. Yeah, like every person I've watched, everyone loses money in their first like when they play the first time. Like everyone, when they set up their city, just loses money. I don't know why. Everyone just does. So I'm trying to see if there's a good place I can place this. Technically, I can place like down here, and it should be okay. If I place like there, then we're okay. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in a whole bunch of residential, and we're just going to do it slowly. So this is all we need. We've got our power, we've got our water, we've got 23 grand. We don't need to overspend, and it gives us that kind of enough money to waste, because we're probably going to lose all of that money. That's the issue with this game, because you can lose money super fast. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn this whole little bit here into residential and just feed the need. So as you can see, when we go up the next day, it's going to change. We're now negative 80 a day, and then I think, oh, that's actually a week. So now we're going up negative 141. So the best thing I'm going to do is actually, as you can see, we're using a lot of power and a lot of water. So I'm actually going to turn these down to 75%, just to save a tiny bit of money, and then when we start seeing some water and power issues, we can jump it up a gear to 100%. Just so we don't have to worry about overspending, because we're going to get into some big negative numbers, and I haven't been able to see someone do this without going into negative numbers, which is really frustrating. They make the game really hard to get into actual numbers. So we've got 2 blocks here, and we've got 1 block here. I actually wouldn't mind extending this into a second block. But to do that, we're going to have to spend money. But we're already losing a lot of money very quickly. So what we're going to do, I'm going to put it into 3. And we're going to turn this up a gear. Start getting the people in, because this is what's going to help us get the money. And so then I'm going to zone in this area here, because the power can come across. Now the power can come across there. The power can come across here. The power can come across here. So this is our residential area. We're going to start bringing in a lot of money for residents. But now we can't have the power issue that we're having, because when you look here, this is how much we're spending. So we're only getting $44, but we're spending $800. So we now need to start getting some big bucks in. And the thing that gives you money is industrial. Industrial makes you cash, and it makes you a lot of it quickly. So we're going to do this, and since we have such a high demand of it, we're going to connect this and turn all of this into industrial. And that's going to start turning around our profits. So when we turn here, you're going to look and you're going to see, okay, so we're getting 180 something, 190 from residential, but now the industrial's picking up. We're starting to earn some money from there, but we're not getting any money from residential. But now we're starting to have power issues. So we can let them have power issues for a while, but when it starts getting a bit crucial, because industrial takes a lot of power, and we could be clever here, and whilst we still have the money, actually chuck in the second generator. I haven't tried this before, and this could cost us a big issue, but if I chuck that in, it might just help. So it could be a big problem me doing that, but it might not. Hopefully it's not. So now the power issue is resolved and we're still only using 75. The money is going down and we can go zone. We can pause this now for a second. And as you can see, commercial's got a big demand. So we're going to put commercial right here, just on that corner. You know, just to fill that demand that's there, but not by saturating the market. So now we're actually starting to get a profit. And now if I go here, we're earning 600, almost 700, and we're spending, we're getting to the point that we're actually going to be catching our money and not lose money. And I'm okay letting these other guys start drowning in a bit of energy, you know, a few blackouts, a few little power cuts, you know, maybe a few, you know, leaky toilets here and there, because we need to make sure we gain the profit. The profit is the big issue. If you don't have profit, you will fail, you will fall apart. The city will just collapse. And that's what I've found from every playthrough that I've seen, every person that's tried. If you don't get it right, it's gonna go south very quickly. So now that we're starting to actually gain a bit of profit, we can maybe, just maybe, I don't want to do it just yet, because we got such demand for residential, but we don't have the room for it. So I'm okay for that for now. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab this. Now, see, this is the issue now. We've got all these people complaining about this stuff. So now we're going to have to bring back the power. So now we're going to bring this back up to 100%, because it's not got enough power to facilitate for the numbers that we have and for the demand. So what we're going to do is going to bring this here and go, okay. So now what is, go away, you stupid things. So we're still, income is now going down a tiny bit. Oh no, it's kind of balancing. So we've still got income even now that we put the power back. But here we go. Now it's catching up. So it's very, very close. And residential is the big thing it's asking for, but I don't have the land to put residential. But I do have money to expand my roads. So what I'm going to do is, it's probably going to put us back in the negatives, and it could be a bad idea, because we're going to lose a house. But I'm going to go here. And I'm going to go here. And I'm going to do another one. We're going to do 3 blocks. We're going to get a few blocks going. So I know we just spent a whole bunch of money, but I'm now going to fill in this bit, and this bit with residential. So we're going to see our profits flip in a second, and we just lost people, but it's going to hopefully rebalance because we're getting new people in. And as you can see, our profits are climbing. The big problem about this game is that you cannot overdo. So now I just want to check my power and water, see it's still in that area, so we're good. We can actually expand in these areas, and now we're starting to actually get some good profit, and that's exactly what we needed. It's at the point where I can completely fill this in profit, and now look at it. Now we're at the point that we're earning DOS of amount of money, and we're performing well. It's actually good. I'm happy I was able to turn this around. I was very, very worried that I was going to do something like record this and it would go south, and that would mean I probably would have to delete the recording. But it's at the point now that we've turned our profits around. we're earning minute money, and there we go. We've just hit our first milestone. Milestones are the key thing to this game about progression. It's the whole point of the game. So, every milestone you unlock something new. Like, I think there's one for 1,000, like 500, 1,000, 2,500, 5,000, 10,000, 100,000, million, all those sort of things. But like with this one, we've unlocked taxes and loans. So that's the important thing is that 500. 500 is one of the most crucial steps in the game. Because, you know, if you're desperate for money, if you're getting into that negatives, and you can get to 500 still in that negative, you can take out a loan, or you can tax your civilians, because now we can start taxing people for the amount of energy they're using, or the water, so we can actually increase the tax a tiny bit. We've also unlocked new services, so we've got garbage, healthcare, and education. Healthcare and education isn't something that you should dive into straight away. It actually can spend a lot of money. Garbage is something that we should look into though, but it's nothing that we have to jump into straight away. So the next one we have is 1,000, and then we can't see what we unlock, but this one shows some of the extra stuff. We won't look into that just yet, because we'll look at that stuff when we actually get there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause it, and as you can see, we're having power issues now. So if we go to power, oh dear, see, we're starting to struggle. We don't have enough, but since we're getting a profit now, I actually can buy another windmill and chuck him there, and then that should put us back into the positive of energy when it boots back up. There we go, we're just in, but we just spent what we need, only what we needed. So it's not about overspending. And like when we look here, we're just gaining a profit still. So 880, so yeah, we're doing all right. We're doing all right. So a lot of this is going to change. Like the city changes. I actually had these guys a bit closer in than I wanted, but that's because if you have it too far away, you spend too much money on roads, and you actually need that tiny bit extra cash. But the best thing about this is that residential's starting to become a bit of a demand again. And I believe this was 800 roads, wasn't it? Yeah, 800. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to extend this down to 800. And we're going to put in another block of roads. So we're going to do that. We're going to go in here again. And here as well. And we're going to, this is going to be like our key residential area. I don't know if this is like where our like top, you know, high-end residents are going to be, but it's going to get to the point where we're going to unlock districts soon, and that's where the game gets really cool, because then you can start, oh yeah, you have to, this is where the tool gets a bit funny. See, it doesn't like you going across, you have to do them all individually, which is a bit annoying, but again, this game has just been released, so there's probably going to be a few issues here and there. So we've expanded that a lot, but we haven't expanded our industry yet. So I'm going to do this again as well, but I'm going to expand this one to 800, and then this one down to 800, and this one across here, and then this one across here. So we've done it so we can expand our industry, because as you can see, the industry is kind of wanted, and now we're at the point where we're earning over $1,000 a week. So we're at the point now that we're actually making good profits. You know, we're not losing out too badly. So I'm just going to fill in those areas. But now, as you can see, garbage is now starting to become a need that everyone cares about. So what we're going to do is I need to put in a garbage place, but I don't know where to put it. Ideally, I wouldn't mind running a road all the way out here. And that's probably what I'm going to do. It's probably going to cost me a bit of money to run it. But if I just zoom out a tiny bit, it's a bit better. So if I run this out, so 2,800. No, come here. 2,800. Or what happened if I went to the next block? So 3,000. No. We'll go 2,000. 2,800, and that's how much it's going to cost. So that's a very expensive road. But by doing that, it allows me to now put in a landfill. Now landfills cause a lot of now this is the thing. This is its stretch. So if I put him over here, he does reach to that area. So I can put him here for now. I'll probably bring him in a tiny bit. Let's actually go here. And let's bring in a road just going down 400. Just so we know. And we'll put him on that corner. So we can put him there. And there. So, and the green is its coverage. So all these areas are getting taken care of. And see, it's still okay. Like, it's not great location for it, but it's an okay location for it for now. Eventually we probably could get rid of it and move into a bit more of a central area. But the garbage truck service, it's an extra service that we are now paying for, and it can get expensive. So the only thing that should be coming up here is garbage trucks, and I think each one of these have 12? No, 15 garbage trucks. So they're going to go pay a little visit to all our people. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to pause the game here for a sec, and I'm going to have a look. Is it here? Yes, it's here. So this is where we were looking at how much money we're spending. So it's costing us, I think garbage is still going up a tiny bit because we've just introduced it. But now we've got taxes and loans up here. I'm going to go across here to tax. And I've looked at what people have experienced. Like, you could shoot this through the roof, but then everyone's just going to leave. You know, you need to progressively increase it to the point where they're still satisfied. They might be a bit annoyed, but they're still satisfied that it's not too much. So what we're going to do, we're just going to raise this up. So pay attention to how much we're earning. We're earning $1,000.88. And now I'm going to chuck this up to about 11% on all these. And let's just see the income that we're going to get by just increasing it by 2. So now when this swaps over, now increased to 1,107. And if I put it into fast speed, now we're going, it starts increasingly go up. And it's just a bit of extra cash in our pockets without annoying our citizens or anything. But now, something I wouldn't mind checking, I can't remember where I had to go for it. Traffic, here we go. So, this shows us the congestion of traffic where it's high and low. Green is good, obviously red is pretty bad. It's always going to be a bit high on this corner here for now. Ideally, what I'd like to do is this road will be what connects here, but I wouldn't mind putting a curved road that connects up here and up here to dampen the congestion here. So say if someone's entering the town and they want to go straight to the industrial area, then they go down here and out. But if they're going out of town, I think I might just put it as a one-way system. So then no one turns back on these roads and goes out. So really then what happens is that these roads here are really only used for income traffic, not outcome traffic. So that's another good little thing. One thing I want to check is our water. So we do have a bit of extra room to expand down. We have a lot of room to expand down. Our water availability is good. We don't need to put in new pumps. Our garbage coverage is still alright, like our landfill is alright. And our happiness, these people aren't too happy. I think they're having some power issues. So if we go over to power, we're now in the yellow zone. So it's about time we pop down yet another windmill. Now eventually these windmills will become redundant and we'll go into the hydro. I think I can't remember what they're called, the advanced windmills. So these ones can go on water. They're solar powered. They don't need like something powering them as well. And this is another way of just making things much easier, and they produce so much more power as well. It's actually incredible. But as you can see, there's a massive demand for residential. So what we're going to do, so we're going to fill in this little bit here, and this bit here, and this bit here. And normally I don't like filling in so much in one big heap, but we're going to do it because since the demand is so high, we're going to get that fill. Now, commercial's starting to make a return, and since we're starting to make this residential, I'm actually going to dezone this area in here. And that's going to lose some people. It's going to make people a bit upset, but it's also going to make them happy because when all these houses go, I'm going to put more commercial here. So we're going to have commercial going around the edge as well. So when these two houses decide to bugger off, I'm going to just color them in anyway, and they will go down when needed. So that's going to turn into commercial buildings. So we're going to fuel that little fire of people wanting commercial. Residential's still a tiny bit high, so we're just going to fill in that little bit there. And everything's going fine and dandy. We're actually still containing a profit. We're still getting people in the city. We probably could start looking at a bit more infrastructure, but again, the more infrastructure you focus on, the more money you lose. Or, not more money you lose, you can balance it back out, but the problem is that you can, you know, like a city pays tax to repair the road and keep it up and running. And like, I actually kind of like the game running on speed 1, but unfortunately it's a bit too slow, so I have to keep on 3. But the whole roads, like, I want to bring this down here, I want to bring in a roundabout and everything, and I kind of want to start focusing on that. But then I also know that I could potentially overspend, and this is like the first time I've been able to actually get it, so I'm not in a negative, so I kind of am happy to keep it like that, but we do need to start looking at how we're going to connect this. So, you're having power issues, really? Wow, okay, we're back in the negatives again. So, we need to pop in another windmill. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab another one. See, this is why you have to be careful, because, you know what, I'm going to pop down a second one anyway. Just do that to bring it up a bit, because we're still getting a good positive, and the demand for residential is climbing again, so I'll have to increase this, and I probably will increase it this way. Unfortunately, we've got some really small houses here, but that's alright. But education's now starting to become, I think, maybe something people want, and that helps with a lot of things, because education can increase, like, everyone is uneducated at the moment, but then we can actually help increase it to the point that it's, you know, we start getting educated workers and highly educated, then, you know, university level, and there's so many things to look into in this game, and it can get crazy. Like, you can get lost. You can really get lost in what you're doing. So, oh, that's a medical clinic. So people kind of want medicine. As you can see, these people are kind of a bit sick, and these people are all right. So we should look at putting in a medical clinic. And we've got community stuff on this corner, so I think the best thing for one of these things, unfortunately, he costs 10 grand. So again, I'm not ready to spend that sort of money, like, because that's a service I will have to pay for, and I wouldn't mind waiting a little while before we do that, because now you look at residential, and once again, we are completely, like, people want it again, so we now need to put more residential in. But now here we go. So what are these? Pollution. So this is our pollution level. So obviously pollution is in this area, and when we get districts, which should be soon, we're about to hit it. I think it's at 1,000, or was it 2,000? There we go, 1,000. So now we've unlocked districts, and now what we can do is we can make it so our industrial area is a selected industry. So at the moment we have down here, as you can see, we have new industry specialization, so we can turn into a forestry or agriculture. Forestry is one of the best ones in my opinion. Agriculture is there as well, but you need to have the right fertile land. Forestry is good because it's a good industry and it's cheap, and it also doesn't impact the environment. So I think it's one of the least profitable, but it also is pretty good when it comes down to pollution, noise levels, traffic flow, and all that sort of stuff. But as you can see, we've also unlocked a 2 kilometer by 2 kilometer, and you're probably wondering what that means. New areas. That means we can buy a whole new tile. One of these tiles is 2k by 2k, and so I think the first one's relatively cheap, like 2,000, so that's not too bad. But I'm not going to rush into buying one of them just yet, because we've still got a lot of land that we can mess with. We've also locked policies in districts. We've also unlocked second loans, industry specialization, service policies. We've also unlocked fire departments, police departments, and unique buildings. I think there's like 5 or 10 tiers of unique buildings and stuff like that. And it's just awesome. We've also unlocked new policies for power usage, water usage, smoke detector distribution. That is a really clever thing to do, but insanely expensive. It's something that you only do when you have a huge amount of money. We've also unlocked a police station and a firehouse. So with these things, they're also positive, but they're also a negative because now that we've unlocked it, it means that now they're a threat. So for example, police and fire, it means that we're now vulnerable. Can I just like close this guy? There we go. You know, with having police, it means that now we can have crime, and you know, with fire departments, it means that we can now have fires. So it's a whole bunch of things that we now have to start looking into. But now look at our money. We're now up to $40,000, which is, well, it's not dollars. I think it's supposed to be simoleons, but with a C. And if you think of the word simoleons, what do you normally think of? I actually think of SimCity and Sims. So it's kind of a bit of a runoff of their currency, but with a C instead of an S. But anyway, guys, I'm going to call this episode here. I think it's been very successful. I'm happy that we actually started earning a profit. Next episode, we're going to expand the city hugely and hopefully maybe even get another tile. I don't know. But anyway, that's going to be it for this episode, guys. So if you enjoyed it, please give us a thumbs up to show that you got all the way to the end and to see if you guys are enjoying the series. But anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. As usual, hope you all enjoyed it. Hope you all have an awesome day. And I'll see you all in the next one. So catch you later, guys.